Hi, friends, and welcome to the Human Thrive podcast. So I'm your host, Amanda, coach and consultant and founder of Neurodivergent Thrive Coaching. So I'm going to explore today how to live more consciously and truly thrive. And today's episode is about examining your life. What does it really mean to reflect on where you are, how you got here, and where you want to go? So if you're feeling stuck, burnt out, or simply curious about your next chapter, this episode is for you. So, why examining your life matters. So, as Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. And that may sound a bit dramatic, but there's truth in it. So modern psychology agrees, and according to research published in the Journal of Psychological Science, self-reflection, when done constructively, improves emotional regulation, reduces impulsivity, and helps with long-term goal setting. So here's the thing. Especially for neurodivergent individuals, life can feel like a series of survival sprints rather than a carefully chosen path. Many of us constantly reacting to systems, sensory input, social stress, which means we rarely get the chance to pause and evaluate if we're actually living in alignment with our values. So let's break that down. So there's research from an organizational psychologist, Tisha Urick, and she found that self-awareness has two components. So the first is our internal self-awareness. So that is knowing what your values are, knowing what your passions are, and how they impact on others. The second one then is an external self-awareness. So that understanding of how others perceive you. Interestingly, only about 10 to 15%, they reckon, are actually truly self-aware. Most of us aren't actually that self-aware. We actually don't have insight into our behaviours, or which you would think we would know ourselves better than anybody else, but often that's not the case, which is why coaching is such a good tool to help that self-awareness. And something that would be the first goal, is to work on knowing yourself and getting to know yourself more. Yeah, I'm just thinking of these people that go traveling to find themselves. That's a thing, finding yourselves. Maybe you don't have to go traveling to do it. You can do coaching. But despite most people thinking that they're probably self-aware, a lot of times we're just running on automatic programming. We've just got these programming that we got as a child, and our beliefs, we were given our beliefs by who we're around, who we were surrounded by. And this programming is there, and we don't even know what program we're operating on. So the good news is that we can become more aware. We can learn the self-awareness, and it starts by asking ourselves questions, get to know ourselves. And it's so fascinating when you do coaching with people and you help them discover who they are. And they have all the answers inside them. They just need the right questions and tools, strategies to bring them out and to help them examine who they are. So I'm going to give you a couple of coaching tools that you can use to examine your own life. So, and you can start these today. So if you're navigating like change, any burnout or uncertainty, or a bit of a crossroads in your life, one of the tools I would use is the Wheel of Life, or the Life Compass Wheel, or different names for it. But basically it is a circle. Draw a circle on a page and divide it up into like slices, as if you're cutting a pizza. Like draw like a pizza and cut the slices. And then you label each one, so different components of your life. So you might have health, relationships, work, career, finances, personal growth, mental well-being, environment, whatever you can pick, but like pick different areas of your life. And the idea behind this is if you're going to rate each one 1 to 10 in wee segments, then if you were drawing the line and they were all different and not even, then if you think of that like a wheel now, that your ride of life is going to be bumpy. So we're forgetting about the pizza now, we're picturing it like a wheel, and these are spokes on the wheel, that if they're all at different levels, you might be having fun and your environment might be good, but maybe your finances are poor, literally poor, and maybe you're not happy in your career, maybe you're not happy in relationships. How we need all of them things to be good or a certain point before we can, like, life is smooth and a smooth ride. Whereas if it's all out of whack, it's going to be bumpy. And this visual can help you see which part of your life needs more energy, and which is for thriving and which is surviving. And then you're going to look at how you can bring, if your finances, maybe you've scored at a 2, how can you bring that up closer to 10 and make a plan for that? The second then thing is, the 3 life check-in questions are, and this comes from evidence-based coaching models, and great journal prompts if you're into journaling. I know people laugh at journals sometimes, but I think if you have a coaching book, even if you're doing self-coaching, a book is good. You don't have to call it a journal, but a book, and writing down your notes is, every time you're writing stuff down, I feel it brings more awareness to it. So question 1, what's working well in your life right now? So maybe you're happy in your career and you've got to a good point in your career. Maybe your relationships aren't good. Maybe your mental health's dipping a bit. Have a look at what is working right now. Then your next question is, what feels out of sync or draining? Maybe you've got to a good point in a career and you feel like you should be content, but it's not something you wanted to do in the first place. Maybe you've always had a yearning to go and do something totally different, but you've been in this career and it's maybe good money, it's steady, but it's never made you light up inside. And maybe now is the time to consider doing the thing you always wanted to do. Maybe that's what you need now. And so what feels out of sync or draining? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe a relationship has reached a point where it's just not working anymore. And maybe you're staying in it because it's comfortable or it's convenient. So look at what's draining you or what's out of sync. Or maybe you just need to work on that. Maybe you need more time together. Maybe, it's not always like, oh, it's spit up. And then the third question is, what do I need more of or less to feel aligned? So maybe you haven't been getting as much exercise, you haven't been eating as healthy, and maybe that's what you need. Maybe you've been eating too much junk food and it's starting to drain you. It could be something in your diet, it could be something in your even your friendship group. It could be somebody who's draining you or you're just not vibing with anymore. So what do you need more or less of to feel aligned? So I'll do them questions again. So your 3 questions. What's working well in my life right now? What feels out of sync or draining? And what do I need more or less of to feel aligned? And so your answers don't need to be perfect, just honest. And okay, the next tool is then the reverse timeline exercise. So I love this one. This is one of my favorite. Any timeline work I love. So imagine it's 3 years from now and life feels meaningful, balanced, and more you. Ask yourself, what does your day look like? So we're 3 years in the future and your life is feeling really good, really balanced, and you're so happy. What is your day? What does this day look like? This is a lovely one. Just sit and imagine, what does your day look like? What kind of work are you doing? Are you doing any kind of work? Maybe you've got bigger dreams than not be working. Who are you surrounded by? And what no longer takes up your energy? So then work backwards. What did you do each year to get there? And this works beautifully for ADHD because famously known as having time blindness where you just can't see time. So it's maybe why I love timeline things, because seeing a visual on paper makes me aware of time and time going in. And I've now got wall planners so I can see the year and a bit more of a concept of time. So this is the reverse timeline exercise, and you can do this even for a year or 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And it's very good. It goes along well with writing, like you're 5 years in the future and you're writing a letter to somebody telling them about your life. I love that exercise. Okay, so yeah, so that's examining and getting to know what you want in life, what's draining you, and what you want to bring in more. And okay, so reflection, it's not always easy, and here are some common blocks to these tools. So awareness brings clarity, but also discomfort. So some people are put off, that they're almost resistant to examining the things, because then they know they're going to have to change them. If they're aware of them, then they're like, oh, I have to do something about this, do I? And sometimes you're just in that comfort zone, and examining things that you might want to change then is going to lead to taking action that's going to bring you outside your comfort zone. And that feels scary. And just want you to remember that your brain will resist this. Your brain, what are we saying? We're saying, thank you, brain. I've got this now. I want to grow. And you are going to feel a wee bit scared because I'm pushing myself outside. But I'm okay. I've got this and we are safe. So just reassure your brain, like you reassure someone who's scared. We're okay. I've got this, because resistance will come up whenever you're doing anything. It's going to go outside your comfort zone. And you might have fear of what you're going to discover about yourself. The other thing is a common block is perfectionism. And I'm glad I don't have this. I'm just like, yeah, let's start it and we'll see, and we'll perfect it as we go. Not even perfect it, we'll just do it, because nothing's ever perfect. But people do struggle with perfectionism, where they don't want to take action until they feel like everything's perfect and in place. The reality is, life's not perfect. Nothing will always be perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing. So that's a whole work in itself, and I appreciate people really struggle with that, and that's a whole big area. If that's one of the things you struggle with, maybe counselling or coaching one-to-one could help that, but it is something that holds a lot of people back. And then burnout. So when you're in survival mode, even self-reflection can feel like another task. And as I talked about that on a previous episode, when I had issues with my child being very unregulated, I went into survival mode, almost forgot the coaching tools that I know to do myself, because I was in survival mode. So obviously, as I said before, this coaching and self-development is not easy work. It's not, and you have to be in the right, you have to have the mindset enough to be able to do it, and be in the right headspace to be able to do it. But when you can, it can do wonders. So the truth is, you don't need to fix everything right now. So even if you're taking the smallest baby steps, any movement forward is still progress. And remember that failure is feedback. So the little steps you're taking, if something doesn't go right, that's part of the process. Like a child learning to walk, they don't get up and walk right away. They fall over a lot. And if they just went, oh, this is not working, I can't do this, they wouldn't be able to walk. So failure, and I don't even like the word failure, but they're part of the journey. Them, not getting things right and trying again and doing again, that's part of the learning process. So you don't have to get everything right away, but you're taking steps and you're taking action and you're moving forward. And you don't need to fix everything right now. Just get curious about where you're at in life at the minute, and where examining your life. So curiosity is the antidote to self-judgment. So just start to get curious about yourself. What's going on for me now? Where am I thriving in life? What's draining my energy right now? And when we start to replace that, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? With what do I need right now? That's when we begin to change. As I say a lot, words are powerful, and words are so powerful, because you think of how you're going, what's wrong with me? Or what do I need right now? The difference in how that makes you feel is palpable. You can feel it, yeah. So your final coaching reflection then, if I could let go of who I think I should be, what kind of life would I be free to live? So this comes down to having any limiting beliefs, or I can't do that, I'm too shy, I can't do that, I'm not good at that. Or if I could let go of who I think I should be, what kind of life would I be free to live? And that's where thriving begins, not with fixing, but with reconnecting with yourself and what lights you up and what makes you feel good. Anyway, this has been lovely. This has been a lovely chat. And thank you for spending this time with me. And I appreciate every single one of you that listens. And if you find this episode meaningful, please share it, rate the show, or tag me on social media with your biggest insight. And remember that examining your life isn't self-indulgent, it's self-respect. And you are worthy of a life that feels like home. So until next time, keep thriving.